Happy New Year and welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Just want to say thank you all for the support that you've given us so far. We are rolling into the new year, 2017. It's going to be a lot of great things in store for us as we take the DFS community by storm, as we continue to take the DFS community by storm. Got a lot of shit on tap for today. I know you've got a lot of NFL stuff going on. I really don't think this is going to be, one of those videos where everybody is tuning in because first day of the year, New Year's Day. We've got some NFL going on. We've got some NBA stuff later. This is the last week of the NFL regular season, so we're kind of getting off of that some, and we will be jumping full steam into the NFL. We're not going to have, NBA. We're not going to have NFL to deal with anymore until baseball comes up. So we're going to be all basketball until baseball rolls around, which we're definitely looking forward to that. And just want to give a shout out to the entirety of the DFS Sweatshop. Y'all fucking killed it last night, bro. And that's what we do. That's what we do. Like this is the most beautiful thing about all of this is I could take a bigger piece of the pie. I can do that. Or we can get together and just make a bigger pie. And that's what we're doing in the DFS Sweatshop. I want to give some special shouts out to some guys. If I could shout out everybody who balled last night in the sweatshop, how many times I saw the logo in first place in tournaments, guys that won thousands of. I think that the sweatshop might have raked in. We look at the totality of DFS, we're a small community. We're probably about really participating members, a couple thousand. We're probably a couple thousand strong. And I guaranteed we raked in thousands last night. And that's beautiful, man. Wonderful thing to watch. But let's talk about one of the homies, man. Jay Gunnarsson. This dude balled the fuck out, went nuts, had a very good night, won a ticket to the $333 NFL the big buy-in tournament. So we all rooting for him, man. We know he's a really good, smart, savvy DFS player, and I'm sure he's putting in a good lineup that's going to help him to a healthy finish. Coach 232, man, he balled out, had a really great night. The homie Coop Show 21, 369.25 DraftKings points, took down first place in one of the tournaments and had that same lineup, I believe, in a couple other spots and did well there too. My man Antoine Trapp, the big homie Antoine Trapp representing for the new Facebook VIP, 383 DraftKings points, took down first place in the tournament, and H-Town 70, he got his 360 on too. So we know the motto was to keep it 300, but these cats was keeping it 350, 360, going in. Beautiful thing. Well, now, just to outline everything, we've got a really, really nice NBA week coming up. Y'all, if y'all know me, I'm sure you do. At this point, you know I love 8 games. 8 games is my wheelhouse. And this week coming up, I think we've got Sunday. Today we've got 5. We've got 8 games on Monday, 8 games on Tuesday. We've got a 7-gamer on Wednesday, 8 games on Thursday, 8 games on Friday, 8 games on Saturday, and 8 games on next Sunday. So you know the DFS Jerusalem is salivating. I'm ready to go in. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the feature 4 players of the night. Usually at this point in the show, I would go over my core 4, but we know we ain't falling for the bullshit. Anything less than 6 games on 5 games or less, we are stacking. That's how we got to the money. How do you think a motherfucker had Harden, Ariza, Harden, Ariza, what's the other dude? Ryan Anderson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jabari Parker, Malcolm Brogdon. Like, how do you think a guy had all of these people on the same lineup? Stacks. We stacking. And the other sites aren't going to tell you that. And it's something that I need to let you know. If you're like me, you're an everyday average guy, you can't afford the subscriptions to the 5 major sites that want to charge you $60 a month. You can't afford that. You can't. And all those things are good to have. And what we've done in the sweatshop is we got all of them subscriptions. We got them all. And our projections, we take all of those sites and we line them up, right? And then we take our own personal private projections, put them there. We average them all out, and that's what we use for our projections. See, so much of DFS these are old school poker players that we're up against. You got to understand that when you're talking about DFS sports. These are guys that came over from the poker world and now they're playing DFS. So number one, they probably don't have the sports savvy that we all have. But the one thing they do understand is they understand that if they can gauge the temperature of the opponent, they can know how to play. If they got the most money in and they know how to gauge the temperature of the opponent, if they can look and tell by your face what your cards are, they can better play their own hand. And that's what we've been able to do so far. We've taken that approach when it comes to daily fantasy sports, NBA in particular, because if we know what everybody else is trending or intending to do, we can play our hands a lot much better. And that's what we've been doing so far. That's what guys in the DFS sweatshop are doing. That's what they're doing in the Facebook VIP, which is easily, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. The Facebook VIP is the best daily fantasy sports page on Facebook, period. Hands down. There are too many winners in there to even compete. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, cats are getting to the money, man. And I really appreciate watching it. So let's go ahead and jump into the feature four players of the night. As we did not release a core four, we went over a bunch of stacks. We're gonna start with a who dat scoring all them points over there player tonight. This is going to Brandon Jennings. We found out Porzingis was out. It scared a lot of people off of that game in general. Not I. I still had my pieces in that game. You had to get a piece of this game. It was the best game to stack on the slate, or one of the best, because I think the Milwaukee game was also pretty good too. But Brandon Jennings, man, 12% ownership, very low for a 5-game slate. He goes out at 3.9K, 51.25 DraftKings points. Excellent game we saw from Brandon Jennings. How did I miss that play tonight? This is especially for me because this is somebody who I talked about on the show. I like the spot that he was in. And when we knew, again, this is players from the same team. When we knew that Porzingis wasn't going to play, this guy's usage automatically had to go up. Now, none of us expected the game to stay as close and competitive as it did, but you had to like this dude coming from where we sat, especially when it came to our stacking. And this is Joakim Noah, man, at 8% ownership, excellent 4-5 game slate. 4.6K, goes out and scores 41.5 DraftKings points. Nice game we saw from him. And the heat check player tonight can only go to one person. There's no even no qualms about it. It can only go to one person. That is the beard. James Harden goes out and get what I believe is a NBA DFS record, 103.5 DraftKings points, 20% ownership out of all the guys that were the high price, the big high dollar guys. He was the lowest owned because everybody was scared off of this game. Now, the one drawback to the game was we didn't see Patrick Beverley. That kind of snapped on us. I had him in a lineup or two, and it did kind of keep me from really getting to the money. I had some 300 lineups with Patrick Beverley in them, like 315 with Patrick Beverley in a zero. So, but that was a very good showing for the heat check player tonight. And James Harden, that is why you are the man. 20% ownership, 11.9K, 103.5 DraftKings points. That is awesome. And now we got to talk about that one motherfucker. And this, the Knicks are dominating the feature four players because this so much of us has so much invested in this game, and we're talking about Carmelo Anthony. You a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. It's the first day of the year, and you are the very first snowflake of 2017. Get your shit together. You a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. But I'm so happy about everybody in the sweatshop that did well last night. I can't really jump on his ass too heavy. But Carmelo tonight, 18% ownership, 7.1K. You robbed us and brought back 12.25 DraftKings points. Yet another motherfucker who ownership was higher than his DraftKings points. And that's horrible. That's horrible. That's disgraceful. Let's go and move on with the rest of the show. What we're going to do now, we're going to jump into my very best DraftKings lineup. And it's funny because the pod we did last night, guy was like, man, how can you follow this dude? This dude doesn't win millions of dollars. He's not even making tons of money playing on his own. How can you even trust what this guy has to say about DraftKings? He never even hits 300. Who the fuck do you think you playing with, bruh? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Let's go ahead and jump into, this is my very best DraftKings lineup. And see what people like that feel or realize is this shit is not just about me, bro. The DFS Sweatshop is a community of people. If they are winning, I am winning. I'm here to analyze and bring the information to you. Now, of course, I'm not the smartest motherfucker in the world. The only difference between me and you is I actually have the time, for in some weird way, I have the time to watch every NBA game, to do all of the analysis, to do all of the the research to compile all of the stats and all of the information from those major sites and average them into something that we can use for ourselves. And that's just the difference. And I bring those to you, and y'all balling with it. You are. There's no mistake about it. Let's go ahead and jump into this lineup. We got now. This was a this lineup right here. The two offenses that I really liked the most yesterday was the Houston Rockets as well as the Milwaukee Bucks. I really thought the Milwaukee Bucks were in a great spot, and it proved to be true yesterday. We started this lineup, of course, with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Had an excellent game out, 73.25 DraftKings points. Malcolm Brogdon, man, he surprised a lot of us. I expected a decent game from him, but a triple-double and 50 DraftKings points? Nuts. Especially at 3.9K. That was perfect for him. The duds in this lineup, because of course I went with my Houston stack, was Sam Dekker and Montrezl Harrell. If we have Greg Monroe here, like Derek Patterson suggested that I do in the DF in the VIP, Derek Patterson was like, "Yo, Greg Monroe," and I shied away from that. Got Montrezl Harrell in there. I would have saved money to pay up for somebody other than Sam Dekker, who only got 7.25 DraftKings points. Kevin Love had a decent game out with 43. Montrezl Harrell, 24. MKG, not a good game from him, but 18.75. We'll take that when we have Giannis and James Harden in the same lineup. And Derek Favors was a play that I didn't think was going to be as popular as it was, but he was a very popular play, and he scored 24.5 DraftKings points. And of course, we had James Harden with 103. And this lineup finished for a total of 344.5 DraftKings points. As you can see, I had it in a few lineups there, and I was able to double a little more than double my buy-in, which is always an excellent showing anytime we're able to do that as a pure tournament player that I am. So now we're going to go ahead. Normally I would recap the show, but we've got a lot going on, and I've got some NFL shit that I'll need to take care of too, as well as still digging in to tonight's lineup. So before we jump to the point totals, we're going to go ahead and do a quick player pricing analysis just to see what we have to look forward to today. Remember, this is a 5-game slate, so we stacking. We are stacking. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's just what we're doing. We're stacking. And this is, I think this is a really nice slate to stack. I really think this is a really nice slate because nobody is like hella priced up. Everybody's in a spot where, I think the guys, the smarter guys, are going to be cashing heavy tonight. And we know in the sweatshop, we got them horses in the sweatshop. We know that. And please excuse the glare. I'm going to go ahead and move that up. We start with Karl Anthony Towns at 9.4K. If you think about stacking Minnesota, I think that can be a very decent play. Remember, he's going up against Miles Plumlee, a very savvy player, kind of a similar player. Miles not as athletic as Karl Anthony Towns, and I think that is where we can definitely use Karl Anthony Towns today. But there's a 6th-ranked DVP. I'm not paying that any attention on his 6-game slate. I think we can fire up Karl Anthony Towns. Kyle Lowry, to me, is a must play. He's a must play. There's a few times during the season when I'm going to tell you, fire up Lowry and DeRozan. They are here at 8.8 and 8.5. Tonight is one of those nights you fire up Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and don't ask any questions about it. DeMar DeRozan is an LA guy, so I know he's going to want to play well at home, which is what we're going to see from him. I guarantee it. I would stake anything on these two having a really nice game. I like Lowry and DeRozan against the Lakers. Hassan Whiteside, he is in play at 8.4K going up against Andre Drummond, but I do like Andre Drummond more for some reason. I just like Andre Drummond more. I have a gut feeling about that. CJ McCollum can be a very nice play at 8.3 against Minnesota. Kawhi Leonard, if he plays, we like him against Atlanta. Dame Lillard, we think he's not going to play. I think he's doubtful at the moment. But if he does play, I wouldn't roster him. Coming off, an injury like below the waist, he's gonna have to show me that he's back before I would even take a chance on him. But I think he's doubtful. I don't think he's gonna play. Paul George is a really nice play at 7.8. We saw a nice Paul George game out last time. The price has not yet caught up to what he can be. I think we can use him today. LaMarcus Aldridge. Everybody's gonna be off LaMarcus Aldridge. They just are. Everybody's gonna be off LaMarcus Aldridge. A lot of people hate him for what he did the other night. I think he's usable. I think LaMarcus Aldridge is definitely usable at 7.4K for the simple fact that people are not going to be on him. And on a 6 game slate, if you can find somebody to be less than 20% ownership, which is my projection for LaMarcus Aldridge, I think that he is definitely in play. Dwight Howard is somebody who I like at 7.2 going up against the San Antonio Spurs. He's at home, so I think, and he loves playing in Atlanta. So I think he'd be a really nice play at 7.2. Jeff Teague is in play for me, even though Orlando has a third-ranked DVP against the point guard position. I still think Jeff Teague is usable. Paul Millsap is a no for me. Goran Dragic is questionable, but I think he may play at 6.9. I don't like him either way against the Detroit Pistons backcourt. Andrew Wiggins is in play at 6.8. Now, he's going to see some Mo Harkless defense. Mo Harkless is a very good defender. So we don't want to go too heavy on Andrew Wiggins. But if you're stacking Minnesota, you kind of don't have a choice. So just real quick, as far as I can see so far, I like Indiana stacks as well as Toronto off the top. Andre Drummond at 6.8. The discount you get from Whiteside to Drummond is so significant that I think that almost makes Andre Drummond a must play in a slow pace, nice rebounding game against the Miami Heat. I do like Andre Drummond today. Julius Randle is not somebody who I'm very high on. He is in play against the Toronto Raptors, though they are not very good rebounding the ball. We're going to see Jonas Valanciunas. He has not been receiving a lot of minutes lately. So that leaves Bebe Nogueira, who I feel like, Julius Randle can have his way down here. I like Julius Randle. Now, Serge Ibaka, man, he gave us blue balls last time. Went out and scored 24 points in the first quarter, 33 and a half, and finished with 39 DraftKings points. However, I think he is very, very usable today at 6.4K going up against the Indiana Pacers. Dennis Schroeder. Now, it says his 21st ranked DVP against point guards, San Antonio. But I don't like Dennis Schroeder today for the simple fact that this team plays very good team defense. If Kawhi Leonard is on the floor, this is a different team defensively. And I don't think that I'm going to be investing 6.3K in Dennis Schroeder when I think there's some better plays at similar price points. Zach LaVine at 6.3 is in play for me. I like him. Miles Turner is definitely in play at 6.3. Paul Gasol is a no. Nikolai Vucevic is in play at 6.1. I like him. I like Tobias Harris, too, in this game because he's going to be seeing some second team if the rotation remains the same and he's coming off of the bench. But I do like Tobias Harris at 6K flat. That's a good price on him. Evan Fournier, we've got to see if he's going to play because if he's not, then Jody Meeks is in play. But he's questionable at the moment. Ricky Rubio, I like Ricky Rubio today at 5.8. He will be the beginning of my Minnesota stack. That's the first place I would go on Minnesota stack. I like him. Reggie Jackson is in play if Goran Dragic sits. If Goran Dragic plays, I'm not so sure how heavy we can go on Reggie Jackson. However, in a stack situation, we're going to have to do something. He's definitely in play. Elfrid Payton is a no for me at 5.8. If he has to start the game. If he starts the game, I like him. But if not, I take that back. We can use Elfrid Payton. We can definitely use Elfrid Payton. I like Elfrid Payton. I'm going to have him in a couple of lineups. In my Indiana stack, I think I'll go on the other side with Elfrid Payton. Mason Plumlee at 5.7 is definitely in play. I like him going up against Karl Anthony Towns. Thaddeus Young is in play at 5.6. That makes a nice Indiana stack. Gorgie Jang at 5.5 is definitely in play against the Portland Trailblazers. Justin Winslow is a no for me. Tyler Johnson. If we do not see Goran Dragic, I think Tyler Johnson's game is more set to do well against a stingy Detroit perimeter defense than Goran Dragic is. Because he's more of a slasher. He's like a Dwayne Wade light. Dwayne Wade white. He's like a clear Pepsi. I like Tyler Johnson today. KCP at 5.4. Will he start that hot shooting back up? I think he could. If this game is at home, I would like KCP more. But the fact that they're at Miami, I don't like him as much. D'Angelo Russell is in play for me at 5.4. I like that. James Johnson, man. I think James Johnson is a really nice play. At 5.3, I like James Johnson today. I think we can see a nice game from James Johnson. Luol Deng is in play at 5.3. He's going to be matched up with DeMarre Carroll. He can eat on DeMarre Carroll. I think we should definitely take a look at Luol Deng. Lou Williams at 5.2 has not been playing particularly well of late. I think that ends today. He has a really good game off of the bench, but he's not going to do much in the way of peripherals. So if you're just looking for scoring, I think we can look to Lou Williams. Jonas Valanciunas at 5.1. He is not in play for me. I don't like him today. I don't like him today. Evan Turner at 4.9. Anytime we get him around under 5K, man, I like him. John Lure had an excellent game out last time. I don't see why that ends. Even though this is the first-ranked team against the power forward position, I do like him at 4.9. I think he's going to be a decent play Deion Waiters is questionable, probably going to be out. Maurice Harkless is a no for me. I don't like him today. Aaron Gordon is a no for me. Tony Parker is definitely in play. If he plays and starts, he's definitely in play. This is the worst team in the league against point guards, and Tony Parker is a savvy veteran. We may only see 18 to 27 minutes for him, but in that time, I think that he can make a nice return on that 4.6. And if we are stacking San Antonio, maybe a Parker, Kawhi, Aldridge stack, I think that's going to be a really nice way to look at it. Jody Meeks is in play at 4.6 if we get word that we won't be seeing Evan Fournier. Jordan Clarkson at 4.5 is definitely in play at home against the Toronto Raptors. Al-Farouq Aminu, man, the price is still down on him at 4.4K. I think we can use him in our Trailblazer stack. Marcus Morris is a no for me. Norman Powell. Now, if you want to go heavy, which I think is a good idea, to go heavy on the Toronto side, Norman Powell is somebody you can definitely get in your lineups. Now, we know Damari Carroll should be playing, and I even like him at his price point. I mean, I think he's under 4K, and we can stack that. We can definitely stack that. Go with Lowry, DeRozan, and Norman Powell, or Damari Carroll, whoever you feel most comfortable with. I would go Damari Carroll since he is the starter. Alan Crabb, 4.2 is a no for me. Bismack is a no for me at 4.2. Nick Young, Swaggy P is in play. He can shoot the long jump shot. We can use him. Kent Bazemore is still dead to me. Manu Ginobili at 4K is in play for me. Jonathan Simmons is a no. Danny Green is in play for me in the San Antonio stack. Pat is questionable. He may not play. Patty Mills is in play at 3.8. Thabo Sefolosha is a no. CJ Miles is in play for me at 3.8 in a big Indiana stack. I like him. Terrence Ross at 3.8 to continue that Toronto stack. He is in play. Kyle Korver at 3.7 against Danny Green shooting a long jump shot. He can definitely make some value, I think, there. David Lee is a no. Aaron Baines is a no for me. John Lure just plays too well with that first team, and then you've got Tobias Harris with the second team. I don't think we see much from Aaron Baines. Lucas LaGuerta at 3.7 is a no for me. Dwayne Dedman is a no for me. Cole Aldridge, no. Willie Reed, no. Now, Whiteside might not play. And if he doesn't play, then we like Willie Reed. And we love Drummond. Corey Joseph is in play at 3.6, definitely. The Toronto stack is looking really tasty. It is. It's looking really tasty today. Wayne Ellington, 3.5 is a no. Larry Nance Jr. is out. Timothy Mozgov is a play I really like at 3.4. I think we can see a nice return on him. Kyle Anderson at 3.3 is a no. Ish Smith is a no. Brandon Ingram at 3.3. I'm done trying to get Brandon Ingram to be this rookie phenom. I think maybe later on in the season, maybe after the All-Star break, once the game continues to come to him. Thomas Robinson at 3.2 is in play for me, actually. Namia Bielita at 3.1 is a play we can definitely look at. Malcolm Delaney, no. DeJounte Murray, no. So it's slim pickings, man. But that's why stacking is key. Because when we stack teams, we're going to get that exposure that we wouldn't normally get to a guy the way we did last night. So let's go ahead and jump quickly into tonight's point totals. That way we can get a better idea of where we're going to invest our stack lineups. Let's get a little bit here. Right. Now, the first game on the slate, remember these games start at 6 o'clock. First game on the slate is going to be the San Antonio Spurs going to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Hawks. This is a 200.5 point total. Really nice point total for a San Antonio team that really plays a good team defense. And, automatically, just jumping out to me, I want to attack the Atlanta perimeter. And I think there's two ways we can do that. We can do that with Tony Parker or Patty Mills. Now, Parker is going to get more in the way of assist. Patty Mills is going to get more in the way of scoring. If we see Kawhi Leonard, which we should, because I don't think he had an injury. I think he was just, having a rest game. So I think that we can definitely look to Kawhi Leonard today, as well as I like Aldridge to bounce back. I really do, because a lot of people are not going to be on him, and this is a really prime position to go ahead and get LaMarcus Aldridge in your lineup. So that is a possible potential stack. The your choice of Parker and Patty Mills, with Kawhi Leonard, and LaMarcus Aldridge. On the Atlanta side, there's not too much I would stack on this side. I don't like Paul Millsap in this game. I think Dwight Howard overshadows him, especially when it comes to rebounding and the defensive stats that really push players over the top. So that puts Dwight Howard in play for me, but I don't think I would be stacking too much. Maybe he would be the only guy I would take off of this roster as a one-off. The next game I'm going to talk about is a 210-point total, really nice point total, and it's Orlando going to Indiana to take on the Pacers. This is probably going to be one of the more popular games on the slate for everybody to invest in because Paul George, the price is still low on him, man. 7.8K, you can't beat that for Paul George, and I really think he can have a really nice game. I like an Indiana stack. I will have quite a few of them lined up for tonight's slate. And where we're going, if you buy into the narrative that Orlando is a really good team against point guards, the perimeter defense is really good. If you buy into that, then you don't have to go Jeff Teague. But there's so many other spots on this team you can actually go. You can go 5 deep without even touching Jeff Teague. We're talking about Miles Turner, Paul George, C.J. Miles, Thad Young, and if you like Teague, you can go 5 deep. So this is a really, really stackable game. On the other side, I think Serge Ibaka's in play. And if you want to use a point guard from this game, you can get that discount from using Jeff Teague and go all the way down to the point guard on the other side of the ball, which is Elfrid Payton, because Jeff Teague is not a very good defender. So this game has a lot of stack potential in it. You've got to look a little bit closely. It's only a 5.5 point total. The Indiana Pacers are at home. I think this is a really nice game to stack. The next game we're going to talk about is the lowest point total on the slate. It is a 196 point total. The Miami Heat are receiving 5 points from the Detroit Pistons. So that means the Miami Heat are a home dog. And anytime that happens, man, I think the point total can be a little closer than what they think. And for that reason, of course, Whiteside is in play. The price is still up on him. He hasn't been playing very well lately, so I doubt the ownership is going to be very high. That is a risk that you can take, and I may take in a lineup or two. He's going to be going up against Andre Drummond, and we know centers can get off against Andre Drummond. We know that. The same thing for Whiteside. But if I had to choose between the two of them, I would definitely go Drummond. The price is lower. He's been playing better, and he has a better supporting cast, more healthy supporting cast around him. So I think that's definitely a play there. We can also look to, on the Miami side, Josh Richardson, man. The dude is hot as shit. He's just been playing very hot. And if we don't want to go point guard, if we don't want to go Tyler Johnson or Goran Dragic if he plays, we can definitely look to Josh Richardson to see some minutes there. Remember, this is one of the lowest point totals on the slate, so we want to be careful how much we actually invest in this game. I'm not going to be rolling too much KCP. Reggie Jackson is a fringe play in my lineups. He may be in them right now, and then the more I look at it, I might have to take him out. So I'm just not going to have too much invested on the perimeter in this Detroit and Miami Heat game. The next game I'm going to talk about is going to be a game I think some people are going to have some exposure to. This is the Minnesota Timberwolves at home, giving up 5.5 points to the Portland Trailblazers. It's a 208.5 point total. That is the third highest point total on the slate. There's a good chance for a nice showing of a Minnesota stack. Of course, Karl Anthony Towns is probably going to be the best play from this game. You've got Gorgie Jang, who's going to be a decent play. You can take your pick. I really rostered both of these guys. Talking about Zach LaVine and Andrew Wiggins. I have to choose between that, and if I had to right now, I would definitely go with Andrew Wiggins. He's been playing very well lately. We saw a nice game out from Zach LaVine, so he deserves some consideration. But I think the two most solid plays from the Minnesota side of the ball are going to be Karl Anthony Towns and Ricky Rubio. I like Ricky Rubio a lot in this game. On the Portland side, of course, we've got to find out exactly if we're going to be seeing any Dame Lillard. If we do, I still don't like him very much, but he should be out. I think the injury is a lot worse than what we anticipated initially. So we've got to definitely be on the lookout. And then Evan Fournier is a game time decision. So we need to keep in touch with the injury reports. Follow Fantasy Labs is a good thing. Basketball Monster, Roto Curve. There's a few of them on there that's really good at keeping us informed about the NBA injury statuses. On the Portland side, we talked about a little already. I like McCollum. The price is up on him a little bit. I still think he goes out and have a good game as the focal point of the offense. Like, who else is going to score? If I had to roster two guys from the Portland side, I'm not going to be stacking Portland. But if I had to roster two guys or maybe 1-1 as a one-off, it would be Mason Plumlee, and it would be CJ McCollum. The last game on the slate, and which is the highest point total. So this is a game everybody's going to have a lot of invested. So you've got to choose wisely in this game. Now, the LA Lakers are getting 9 points. It's a 218.5 point total. The Toronto Raptors are giving up 9 points. It's a really, really nice point total here, really juicy. And the contrarian stack, which I'm going to have some of, is the LA Lakers. The contrarian stack is the LA Lakers, and it's very cheap. It's very cheap. This will allow you, if you go heavy Lakers, like say you go Russell, Randall, Mozgov, you could still get in Lowry and DeRozan. You can actually just stack this game and be fine. The same way we did with Houston and the Knicks last night. You can just stack this game and be fine. And maybe snatch a one off from somewhere else that you really like. So that is definitely a viable option. Look into that. Tinker with it, play with it, see what you come up with. And remember, that's what they're doing, man. See, the difference is, the reason why we do so well on these shorter slates is because there's less Brandon Jennings on shorter slates. There are less Malcolm Brogdons on shorter slates. Like there's virtually nobody that all of us can't get some exposure to in some way, shape, or form. On a 10-game slate, we just don't have the money to buy enough rosters to where we can get that guy that's going to go off for 3K. Like, we're not going to roster Dragon Bender, the way they did on a 10-game slate. Who's fucking thinking of that? Nobody's thinking of that. They type it in, put them shits in a spreadsheet and in a CVS file and upload them to it, and they got 150 lineups, and one of them hits. But on short slates, they can't hide from us. Like, they've got to show their faces, and they've got to show their cards because all of the plays are already laid out for us. So we had a really, really good night last night in the DFS Sweatshop. We are looking forward to a really great year. So many things are happening. I did not release any cheat sheets or stack sheets or anything today, simply because we are working on the relaunch of the new website. That's right. You guys have given me so much support that I am able to relaunch the website. It's going to be cleaner, nicer, much better, more information. A lot of great stuff's going to be on there. The second VIP is doing really well. Guys are in there getting to the money. The first VIP is my baby. Nobody else is getting in there. That is set, locked in stone. There's no way to get in there. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, there's no way to get in there. The Twitter is still popping. We're still rolling there. The YouTube, man, thank y'all, everybody on YouTube that has been subscribed since day one, or if you're just coming in. And, there's a few different ways if you can support the show, man. If you wanted to, you can click the button over there that says support the show and go wherever it takes you. So it will allow you to support the show. But if you wanted to rock some DFS Sweatshop swag, little 300 club, you can definitely do that. There's going to be a link in the description to the video that'll take you there. You can support my personal PayPal. It is simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com, or you can go ahead and become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop by visiting www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you will receive everything. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful and profitable first day to the new year. I am signing off, but the first thing that I want y'all to do this year when it comes to NBA DFS is go out and keep it 300.